I'm Mike.
This is Parker.
And this is the Try Hard podcast. So on today's episode of the Try Hard podcast, we'll be going over this past weekend at Oceanside, what we thought about the race, what we thought about the stream, and what we thought about the performances at Oceanside. And then I guess we'll also do a little bit about our past weekend of training as Texas is coming up for me and Parker. So this episode is sponsored by
The Naperville Acupuncture Center. If you're in the Chicagoland area and are looking to get some dry needling or acupuncture done, I cannot recommend them enough. I've been going to go see Frank and Angela every week for the past couple of months, and they have been key in keeping me healthy and enabling me to elevate my training. As a special offer, if you mention my name or this podcast during your visit, you'll receive a discount on your very first treatment. All right, back to the show.
Okay, guys. So, what do you guys think about Oceanside? What do you guys want to start with today? I know I have some things to say, especially about the stream, but does anyone want to start us off?
How about you? I know we were texting during it and you were getting pretty fired up. Well, first, I just want to confirm you are not, in fact, flying out to Colorado and starting a new hiking slash surfing slash outdoor TV lifestyle, are you?
So I can confirm that I am not. So that was for me. Like the stream was just way too many ads, and I'm okay with ads, but I think outside TV is just way too I don't know, way too nurturing, way too like hikey for my sense. And I think, yes, I know a lot of the triathlon community loves nature and like hiking, mountain biking and all that, but
Well, that's the thing. Outside TV really doesn't have anything to do with triathlon
I
besides the
know
fact that they're both outside.
exactly. So that's why I'm just so confused. Why is Ironman really using outside TV to host their streaming when Ironman makes so much money off age groupers and still can't figure out how to do a stream? Like I feel like the stream was we see maybe a minute of actual a minute to like 3 minutes of race and then we get another 3 minutes of ads and then it was just like that throughout the whole day. And then for me, like the worst part was like the commentators are going into a great point and then just cuts into an ad and you're like, this is exactly what I wanted to. I wanted to hear them say something and then it would just cut to ads, which is just so frustrating for me.
It seemed like half the time they said, we will be right back after the short break, and no ad would play. And then the other half of the time, they wouldn't introduce or preface the ad at all, and suddenly you'd be hit with an ad. It's like, what's going on here? Like, do they even know what's going on in the background?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
But
thought one interesting thing was Rennie. She was the host for this as well as I think T100 Miami, right?
I don't think she was the main host, but she
She
whenever
was at
Miami,
Miami though, right?
yeah, no, she was like the one of the main hosts at Miami. She wasn't like a host, but she was like whenever they would come into transition, she was like there and like
Mm.
talking right, like getting a live feed from the transition. So she was like, whenever the athletes came into transition, she'd be the one commentating. So she wasn't one of the main hosts, but she was definitely part of it, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I know Sid, you mentioned texting us over the weekend that there was a lot of attention on Patrick Lange, and I love Patrick Lange, and I was excited for him to race. I was rooting for him, but they spent a ridiculous amount of time just focused on him, like really squirming around on the bike, trying to push power to catch some of these guys, and I don't think that was the best for the stream.
Yeah, yeah, I think they only like chose like two or three athletes and just kept like the video on them, and they just really couldn't follow anyone else, which is like T100 also does that. So yeah, the streaming part's hard, but it was interesting they picked Patrick Lange, especially like he was I think when I was watching he was like 15th like most of like the bike, and they were just showing most of that, and like they're not even like talking about him while he's being shown. So just like, so I
Yeah,
feel
it seemed like the broadcast was a little bit disconnected from what the commentators were talking about. Especially, I think there was also something going on during one of the transitions. I think it was T1. Lionel was having issues with his helmet, I think, and they were talking about that on the broadcast. But then you were getting shown, part of the race, which wasn't even going. So, yeah, I wasn't too happy with that. And then also, I know at the beginning of the race, they were talking about when the male pros were coming out of the water, they're saying, "Oh yeah, some of the really strong swimmers haven't even come out yet, like Eric Lagerstrom." Even though he mentioned like a month ago he wasn't going to be racing.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, and I heard them talking. I was not impressed with the quality of the people that were hosting it and their information. I think that the T100 did a better job. Um, yeah.
definitely great. So yeah, I think we can move on from just this whole streaming fiasco. So what do you guys think about the race in general?
Well, one thing with this kind of ties back to what we just mentioned or were talking about, but Joe Skipper, I felt a little bad for him, even though I don't think he was watching this, but they were during one part of the live stream, they're saying, "Yeah, we really haven't talked too much about Joe Skipper." And honestly, I don't think we will because he's just not having a good day. It's like, oh no. But yeah, I guess I was a little surprised that some like Parker Klanga, Joe Skipper, some of the other guys that I thought would do a little bit better didn't do too well. But I think that they may have been saving some of the tank for Ironman Texas, or maybe their training just hasn't been too focused on short distance. What do you guys think?
I would agree. Long season, this is a season opener for a lot of these guys and girls, and all the memes that have been coming out. It's like when you race super hard, get like top three, and then Taylor Nibbs like blows out the field by 10 minutes and says, "Yeah, just a season opener, lot to fix and work on." It's crazy. Um, yeah, I think Oceanside, the course too, though, I didn't realize how difficult that course is. Like I've watched the stream the last few years that they've done it here at Oceanside, but I didn't realize how challenging of a course especially the bike was.
I think the bike, and then also how cold it was. The water temperature was like 59 degrees.
Yeah.
It seemed like almost like the Indian Wells, or very similar to Indian Wells.
Yep. And like like when it was St. George, when it was really cold that year that we were there, Parker, like
Yeah.
no, it made it tough to get going. Like once we got in the water, it wasn't too bad, but like getting out of the water and then how cold you were. And Rennie said it really well. She's like, when you get out of the cold water and then you're running through transition and your feet just feel like stumps,
Yeah.
it always makes it a little bit challenging to start pushing power.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like actually were wearing gloves, so their hands must have also been like really cold coming out of the water. It was interesting because you don't really see that a lot on cold races, I guess.
I was impressed with Lionel though, how he said, because I remember in his post race recap, he was talking about how back in Indian Wells when it was super freezing, he's almost had like a panic attack, and he said this time, he knew that he prepared for it and he was ready, and he wasn't going to make any excuses or whatever. And so as soon as he got into the water, he wasn't going to hyperventilate. Didn't matter how cold it was, how warm it was. He was going to swim his race, and that's honestly what he did. So I was, yeah, with that mental mindset really did impress me with Lionel. It seems like he really has, I don't want to say matured because he's so old, but he really has gone all in, I think, this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he does later in the year.
Yeah, as you said, all in. I feel like, especially if it's like newest video, like they were asking if he's gonna be like targeting like the Pro Series, but like his answer was like he's really gonna mainly be focusing on Kona, which is like I think that's like really smart for him.
Yeah.
Because yes, like he could probably do well at doing 3 Ironmans, but then that really like gives him like risks him like even doing performing well at Kona. So I think he's just doing like Placid to qualify, and then after that, just strictly focus on Kona, which I think is like definitely the smartest move for him because you could just see like 13 weeks of hard training coming into this race. Like each race just means that much more, and I feel like that you just focus that much more during it. And I think like based off his 13 weeks of like hard training, like it really paid off for him Oceanside, and it was great to see his like swim, bike, and run like come off. So he had like strong bike and swim, which he's had like previously, but to have it with a strong swim as well was like really, really great to see.
Yeah, that was impressive. Probably his career best swim. I think it's exciting to see all the work that he's put in on the swim is finally paying off. And I guess what is he swimming now a week? Like 60K per week?
No, he's only at 30.
Oh, is it only 30? Okay. I thought it was like something crazy he was doing, but yeah. Um, I guess that's a good sign for the rest of us trying to get better at the swim.
Honestly, after his performance, I almost booked tickets to go stay and live at what's the swim club they're called?
Oh, Aqua
The
Bears.
Aqua Bears, yeah. I think
Yeah,
after we'll see how I do at Ironman Texas, but honestly, after I think like a 2 week swim camp there, I think that would pay huge dividends. Because look at Trevor Foley. I think Trevor Foley also swims there, doesn't he? In
he
Hmm.
does.
Illinois, he has been, and I think his well, obviously he hasn't raced yet this year. Actually, he was supposed to be at Texas, but I think he got hit by a car or something like that. He had a crash. I
Oh
Hmm.
saw
wow.
him. Yeah, so I'm not sure because he was supposed to do Oceanside, but he didn't do it, and I'm not sure if he's going to be doing Texas or not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how his swim has improved as well because he's another one of those guys that's a super strong bike runner, but has been focusing on the swim lately. So yeah, we'll see. But I really do want to go to. I want to see what Aqua Bears is all about. I want to try that out.
You
So
should. I feel like that would definitely be helpful.
yeah.
I know there was an age grouper, and you probably know him, Parker Caden Lieto. I think he's either Matt or Chris Lieto's son.
Hmm.
He was at Finland and raced there, and I think he's trained quite a bit with like Lionel and Trevor
Oh,
Foley and a lot of those guys. But yeah, he was with the Aqua Bears recently training, and I think he's popped up in a few of like Lionel's and Trevor's videos.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure
go
I
check
saw it
him
on.
out sometime.
Yeah, I'm surprised Sam Long doesn't. Sam doesn't swim there, does he?
No, I don't think so.
I wonder why that is. Because he's in the area, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah. But speaking of Sam, I think I think that race really shows. Well, I know Lionel talked about this in his videos, but I knew Sam was a strong biker, but I think after this, I think Sam is the strongest cyclist in Ironman right now. I don't know anyone. I think he's stronger than Magnus. Um,
Interesting pick.
Yeah, because well, in the video, did you listen to the part where he was saying, Lionel was pushing what 430 watts up a climb, and he was still getting gapped by Sam, and so Lionel was saying that Sam must have been pushing 500 to 550 watts to make that gap, and that's just yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think of other than like Lionel's performance, like winning it, and how awesome that was. I think I was most impressed by Justin Reale.
Hmm.
Um, he's been a pro, I think, for 2 years now, they said, and he's on the EMJ team, and he's like, he works a full-time job, and he was hanging out there with, some of the best pros in the world, and he finished, was it seventh or eighth? I'm looking at the results right now. He finished eighth, so just in the money. And like they said, the whole time on the stream, they were saying that he doesn't have the run to stay with these guys, but from a swim bike standpoint, he can hold it with them. And yeah, he mentioned going up the hills, he was holding like 430 watts
Hmm.
up the hills to keep up to these guys, and pretty impressive. And I mean, not to say that his run was bad by any means. He put together, I think it was like a 119, um, but tough to compete against like a Lionel running a 110.
Now, do you think because this was something that the commentators also said, they were saying that Lionel was really hurting on the run. He was going 100%. Do you think Lionel could have gone faster?
Mm, maybe if he spent a little more time running in his carbons. I mean, he's run down into like what, 108 before,
Yeah. I
right?
think if he was pushed, he could have. I think because I think, and I was listening to the Chase Pack, or not the Chase Pack, but that triathlon hour. And they were talking about how they thought that Sam wasn't backing off or whatever. They thought that he was just wasn't performing as well. I honestly think that Sam saved some in reserve. I think Sam could have pushed more and could have gone to the well, but I
Mhm.
think two reasons. One, I think he really respects Lionel and likes him, and maybe didn't. I'm not sure if he not let. I don't want to say let him win, but I think he knew that Singapore was coming up and that was going to be a very hard race. And so he kind of thought, let Lionel have his day. I'll come, I'll back off a little bit and not cook myself on the run and then save it for Singapore. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and also Sam was like Lionel's video. Sam was like pushing the bike the whole time because he was saying that he thought Jelly, or how do you say it,
Yeah,
was
Yelly.
Jelly.
he was still in the bike pack, but he wasn't. So he was just pushing the whole time. So he definitely could have. I think Sam could have like definitely gone a little easier on the bike, but because he was scared of getting run down, he just did like push the whole time. So that I think also like worked so well into like Lionel's race. Also, like how you were saying, like a lot of those bikers, they were just saying just stick with Sam, and then we'll be able to run. So he's like doing all of the work. Like everyone else is like still like going up every hill is like 430 watts, but everyone else like averaging like 330 to 340 watts. So like everyone's like dying on the bike, but they just know like they have to hang on to be able to run. So I think Sam just like did like pushed a lot of that bike. He definitely like toasted a lot of his legs, and then as you said, Parker, he is like racing Singapore, and I think he is focusing more on Singapore on like the T100 in general. Like I don't think Sam Long's gonna qualify for Kona, or so like does the Ironman series like even really like matter for him? So I think he definitely does want to be focusing on the T100 races, and coming second prior to T100 race like still great for him because he's known to like do well back-to-back weekends. So I'm really excited for Singapore this weekend, see how he does.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. I think he may have held back a little bit. I mean, trying to race a shorter, higher intensity race within what, 6 days, 7 days, that's pretty tough to do. I mean, he's one of the few that can actually do that. Um, but yeah, I mean, still an incredible race. But he did give a nice Instagram post explaining like how he compared Miami to this race, and he said he just, felt like he maybe didn't quite perform as well here as he did in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, not that long of a turnaround from Miami till
Yeah.
till
Yeah, that would be a tough. Yeah, they mentioned this, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how if he is still firing at the end of this season for sure. But yeah, I think that anything else on the men's side of things, you can quickly chat about the women's side. Although I don't think there's really much else to say except for Taylor Nibb is she can compete with the male pros.
yeah. Um, I don't think I've got any more to talk about on the men's race. It was pretty much the Lionel and Sam show once they got out on the bike. So
And I just want to say seeing Lionel do well, I don't know. I think it's good for the sport. I think I don't know what it is about him. It's just, I think yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think that makes watching Lionel so fun to watch? Is it because you never know how he's gonna do? Is it because like he's the first big name in triathlon that you guys all found? Why do you guys have such a fun time or enjoy watching Lionel race so much? So, I mean, for me personally, it's kind of because he is like the first YouTuber I was watching, starting triathlon. I think like his pain cave video where he when I walked through like his pain cave with his like indoor pool and everything, I was like, oh, I want to have that in my basement one day. And then, kind of seeing how he goes to the well and what I thought was very interesting was when he mentioned the fact when he was talking to Jan Frodeno and they're saying, what was it? Suffering and performing well are not the same. Was that what they're saying? Say, do you remember?
yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He asked me, it's like, do you just like suffering? Like, I think part of him maybe. But I think like yes, he was one of the first YouTubers that I watched, and that makes me excited to see him do well. But I think because he's willing to go to the well and suffer probably more than anyone in the sport, other than maybe Christian Blumenfeld. Like you just see it, like Lionel wears it on his face. Like
I want to see that and Kona. I want to see Christian and Lionel go head to head the last 5K of the race. That's what I want to see. That would be
yeah,
one of the ages. And honestly,
that
I don't
that
know who
would be
I want to win.
exciting.
I don't know who I think I'd want Lionel or Christian to win, just so he can say he did the Olympic and the Kona double, and then I want Lionel to win in 2 years. That's what I want to happen.
So yeah, I
I
want
just
Lionel to win, but only if Christian. But I wouldn't want Lionel to win if Christian won Paris because like I think it would be awesome seeing Christian winning Paris, and Kona, but that's still up in the air though. But I really hope he
Yeah.
does. 'Cause that would be so cool. And for me, like about the Lionel winning, so that was like actually my first time seeing Lionel actually like win a race. So I'm like still like new, like triathlon kind of ish. So it's been what, like 9 months. So ever since I've been in, he hasn't like won a major race. So just like just watching the stream, just seeing like the emotion on his face, and just like also seeing like the grit in his like run forms, like not the prettiest run, but it's like you can see like he's fully like gritting it out. Just like so fun and hyped to like see him win. So I was really happy seeing him win.
You lose your
yeah,
Lionel virginity this weekend.
I did. It was my first time. It was great.
I don't know if Lionel can beat Christian Blumenfeld in Kona. Like
We're
I
back.
believe in Lionel, but I don't know, man. I just Blumenfeld and the Norwegians, they're on another level.
Mhm.
Um, I just feel like they have it.
Oh, so
They
really
have
quickly,
almost
sorry to
everything.
interrupt you, but you talking about them being on another level. That did you see Gustav Eden's Strava post or Strava activity? I think yesterday or today.
Was it the bike ride?
Yeah,
Did he bike around a track? Oh, I
yeah.
literally that's the last thing I clicked on Strava. No joke. I opened it up and then I just like closed Strava after that.
Wait, what is it?
What did he do? He just went around like a running track on his bike and did 41 miles.
He biked 41 miles around a running track.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
No power numbers, but he did average 26.6 miles an hour.
At first, I thought something happened with his leg again because, like, wasn't the title like not okay or something like that?
Yeah, he said not all right.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, he got injured running. And then I saw it was a cycling activity. Like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if his Achilles is just not progressing the way he wants it to. It's taken him out of the sport for like what?
But in the latest Christian video, I think they were he was Gustav was running and he was saying like he's getting ready, he's back into it. Or was it on Gustav's Strava? I saw or read something that made me think that he's back in it.
Yeah, he just ran 2 days ago. But then he did. I did see
Yeah.
that video where he was running. He had that big jacket on with Christian.
Oh,
This
yeah.
video.
I think in one of the videos, the way he explained it was that, or maybe it was Olav explained it like he can run, but it's running high intensity that causes that Achilles to flare up for him right now.
Yeah.
So they weren't testing him on the run, and even on the bike, they said it was affecting him trying to go all out on the bike.
Yeah, it was one of his Strava activities. He said, just have to do this 4 times in a row without breaks. So, yeah. And he was hitting some pretty quick numbers. He was doing some 400s at 5:08 pace,
Hmm.
5:09 pace. So, yeah.
Solid.
Anyway,
So, what do you guys think about the female race? Anything to note there other than the fact that Taylor's a beast and just gonna run away with everything?
well, what I was surprised was she didn't get the bike course record. She tied it.
Oh yeah, with Daniela.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, maybe she could have gone for it. She wanted to get it, I think, is what she said in her press conference afterwards, but I don't know, maybe she held back a little bit because she had a 10-minute lead.
Also assuming it's the cold weather like takes a little bit more to like warm up out of the water, so that could also affect bike splits. Because everyone bike was a little like slower than usual, I thought, compared to like previous years.
her T1 was actually hilarious to watch. Like you could tell in T1 that she was gonna come out and just destroy people because she was so casual, so laid back, asking questions about where people were, and then just within, I think it was the first 12 miles, she had already gapped Fenella and put in like 2 to 3 minutes on her,
Hmm.
which is nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
wonder, it would be interesting to see what power she held. I wish she would release. Oh, and also the news that she's being coached by Dan Lorraine now.
Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I hope that she gets on the That Triathlon Hour or That Triathlon Show podcast. Or either actually, either of them. And her and Dan Lorraine have like a duel, so they can talk about kind of the training and what it looks like. I always love listening to what the training looks like for the top pros. It'll be interesting to see how it's changed since she started working with him.
Hmm. Yeah, I also thought another interesting part of the women's race was just Emma Pellant-Brown. I thought she did really well. Her run was like really scary coming. So she also did do one of those like wrong turns. So I know a lot of the pros, or a couple of the pros, like did a wrong turn. I think Lange was one of them too, right? They did a wrong turn on the bike, so they were like 4 to 5 minutes down anyway. And she was one of those people. I think she came fourth or fifth off the bike and then ran into second, and she had like crazy fast runs. So it was good to
Yeah,
see
she looks
her.
so good.
Yeah, it's like really good to see her coming back from the accident in Miami, and then I think she also had another like I think she also got into like a car accident too on her bike like 2 weeks ago, but then ended up racing this race, which is like just kind of crazy to see. Like she performed so well for getting into an accident right before this race, and I'm excited to see what she does the rest of the T100 series because I think that really like it showed that she can like really run. So hopefully her swim catches up a little bit.
Yep.
I would agree.
And then I feel like we're forgetting about Paula. I feel like Paula had a very status quo Paula race, like, just always like hanging out in the top five, just
Mm-hmm.
so consistent. Um, I feel like she did a great job.
Great.
I
Yeah, I feel
feel
like this. I feel like Paula never has like amazing races, but she never has bad races either. Like I feel like if she's gonna be on the start line, she's gonna be in that mid pack, or not mid pack. Like between in the middle somewhere, and then she'll be consistent and have a good race and be in the top, five always. If she's because I can't remember a race where she hasn't been in that. I just feel like her run just isn't like she's a good swimmer. She's a very good cyclist and she's a good runner, but she's not the best at either one of those, which is kind of what you have to be. I mean, if you look at Lucy Charles, she's the best swimmer in the game and she's a super strong cyclist and runner. If you look at Taylor Knibb, she's a great swimmer, the best cyclist, and arguably one of the best runners. You know, yeah, I just she's very, very good at all three of them, but she's not exceptional at one.
yeah, extremely well-rounded, which I feel like
Yeah.
you don't find that much in triathlon. Like most of the athletes have one big strength.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, you guys want to quickly touch on Singapore and then we can talk about some of our training we did this past week.
Yeah, sounds
So,
good.
So who do you guys think is gonna win Singapore if you had to do a top three,
hmm,
men or female?
Here I can go. So for female, I think Ashley Gentle's gonna win like just easily. She looked so good there last year, and this is her first race of the season, right? Or has she had another? I think
And
this is
that's
her.
her first race. Yeah.
Yeah,
her
I think she's
first,
gonna do. I think she's just gonna dominate. She's so good. Taylor Knibb's not there either, so I don't really see anyone else beating her. And then for the men, I
Lucy
think
Charles.
no, I think Lucy Charles is just gonna. I really don't see Lucy Charles beating Ashley Gentle. How did was it? How did she do in the previous Singapore? She came fourth or fifth, right?
Yeah, she got passed pretty quickly, I think, on the run.
Yeah. I see probably Lucy second and then third. Oof, probably India Lee maybe or maybe she might go second. I don't know. I really I don't know. I just know that. I think it's gonna be pretty clear that Ash is gonna. I think she's gonna just take it, and then the podium's pretty open. But once again, I definitely do think that India and Lucy are going to be there. Plus, it was kind of interesting. I think it's only, is it 6 of the women that are contracted are coming? So it's like really not as, it's like more of like a wild card race. So there's like 14. I think it was that. It was like either, let me just double check. I think it was like 6 or 7 are contracted athletes, and everyone else is a wild card. So a lot of people aren't actually, a lot of the women aren't coming to Singapore for the weather, which is interesting. So that's why another reason I think Ashley's going to run away with it. But then what do you guys think for the women's side? And then we can go to men's after, I guess.
I think Ash Gentle first. I'm gonna say Chelsea Sodaro second, and then Luce Charles Barkley.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go India Lee first,
Mhm.
and then Ashley Gentle and Lucy Charles third. So that's my top three. And then I'll kickstart the men. I think it's interesting what they're saying about Sam Laidlow, how much of a wild card he is, and yeah, I don't think he's going to be a contender. I don't think he's going to be top three. I think he just doesn't care enough, to be honest, at this stage of the race. I think it's still too early, and since he's so focused on Kona, I think he's going to show up, and I think he'll have a good day. But I think Magnus. Honestly, I think it's going to be Magnus, Sam, 1, 2, and then third. Oh, oh, I know who's the guy that won 70.3 Worlds.
Rico?
Is he going to be there?
Joe
Not
Bergen?
not Rico. Bink. The the guy that got sick at Singapore, got everyone sick. They were talking about him.
Oh, Mika Newt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Mika.
I think he's going to be. I'm taking him for third.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
All right. It's tough for me to put like a 1, 2, 3, but at least on the podium. I want to say Magnus, but I feel like that's a chalk pick, but I'll say Magnus 1. And then 2, I'm actually gonna pick a guy who might surprise people, but Yuri Kulin. He had a great race in Miami and seems like he's racing really well. So I would say Yuri, and then maybe for to round out the podium, I want to say Alistair or maybe Daniel Backegard.
Alistair's going to blow up again.
Especially in this
Telling
heat.
you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna,
He needs to not run too hard on the way out. I think if he just backs that pace off a little bit, he could probably be good.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Magnus first. I think he's just gonna run away with it again. And then this one's tough. I think Sam Long second, and then for third, I'm like torn between Yuri and Mika. So it's one of those, I think one of those two. So I might go Mika, but yeah, because he was the patient zero last time. I think he'll have a good race this year.
Hopefully. Supposedly he's healthy too, so.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's not quite as in depth as the ultimate Singapore and Oceanside recap that was posted by Jack and Ari. However, I think that's good enough for us three. They talk for so long. I love that podcast.
I feel like
But
it also helps that they know these guys and girls, so
yeah, no, that's for sure.
and racing alongside them probably understand the dynamic a little better than we would.
Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, if you guys want to follow us, we are on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. We would appreciate a 5-star review. And if you have any questions for us, feel free to drop them down below on Spotify and YouTube. I'm not sure if Apple does. You can't comment on Apple Podcast, but that's whatever. Anyway, you guys want to get into some training? We can, I don't know, if you guys want to talk about a weekend, a workout, whatever, or just chat about how training has been going in general, what you're excited for. Mike, you might want to talk about the bike workout you just did a couple hours ago. But and maybe what you have coming up with
Yeah.
your bike threshold or double bike test.
Oh yeah. So today was like a good opener or good practice for the test week that I've got next week. So I'm in a little bit of a down week. Had some travel yesterday for work and gonna be traveling later
Oh
this
yeah,
week.
tell everyone what you did yesterday. That amazed me.
It would have been more amazing if I actually got in the pool, but I was like, I'm gonna be a smart athlete and take the rest day that Parker has given me. But yeah, I had to fly out to Detroit for work, and because I'm in the city, like you can get flights really easily in and out. So woke up at 3:30, left for the airport at 4, flight out at 6, went to Detroit, had to work there for a couple hours, visiting a couple distribution centers, and then I was back in the city here by like 6:30. And I could have made it to the pool. The pool opens at 7, and Ezra texted me and was asking if I was gonna swim, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to. I feel okay right now. But then once I got home and had some food, I was like, oh yeah, I need to just rest. It's been a long day, and it was like my whoop was like the last like 4 or 5 days were all like red recovery. So that helped taking yesterday off because then today was like peak recovery. So but yeah, this morning had a fun bike ride that was like a 1 hour 5 or 1 hour 10 minute over under at Ironman effort. So first like 20 minutes of the main set were just under Ironman power, and then there was 30 minutes like at main or at Ironman power, which was about 2:35, um which hopefully by race time that's going to be a little bit higher. I think the 2:35 will probably be pretty easy to hold.
250
um
or bust.
250 or bus, yeah, we're going to get there. And then the last 15 minutes, Parker told me I could just send it. And when Parker says that and lets you like go all out, it's a fun thing to do. So I just decided I was gonna try to treat it like a 20-minute test, even though it was just 15 minutes. So I just went hard and averaged around 334 watts, I think it was on Strava. It was weird. Strava and Training Peaks didn't sync on the power exactly, but it's like 333, 334 watts, um, which was good. And it set my peak 20-minute power because it was like the last 5 minutes of the the interval before plus that 15 minutes ended up averaging out to my peak 20-minute power. So that was huge. Um, but actually, one other thing, I think I was more excited. Today was exciting. I always love like trying to set new bike threshold numbers, but Sunday, me not being the strongest runner, definitely the weakest of our group here, it was nice to go out and do a long run. It was like a little over a half marathon and just had a really nice progression starting off nice and easy aerobic and just bringing it up to like just below maffetone level. And yeah, just overall felt really good.
You made a very pretty graph on Sunday, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was the
We're
goal.
all about pretty graphs here on the Try Hard podcast. I will purposefully, change a work, not like a lot, but I will try to make workouts create pretty graphs. So for example, like progressions or something, I'll make sure to progress by or try my best to try to progress every step by like same amount. So like the graphs turn out super pretty. But yeah, how about you, Sade? You're getting yeah, we got Texas. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good actually. It's like really weird. It's like starting to like hit me that it is really close. Yeah, we had like another big weekend. Saturday was nothing crazy. I think we've done this weekend. We've done a similar weekend before, so it was just like a swim in the morning. Then we did the final 3 hours of Ironman Texas. Like I think that's made by Best Bike Split. So we did the first 3 hours and this final 3 hours, and then just an easy run off. So yeah, that all felt great. So Saturday, I felt like I took Saturday pretty easy. Just getting ready for Sunday, which is my main workout of the weekend, which is my last long run of the build, which went pretty well. So I did an hour on the bike prior to the run, so just like aerobic on the bike to get warmed up and to like mimic my legs on race day. And then I had a 22-mile run, so I had 5 mile warm up into 7 miles, at marathon heart rate, and then 1 mile easy, and then 6 miles at marathon heart rate or 5 beats higher. So I actually wore carbons for this long run. So all my runs, all my prior long runs were just in endorphin speeds. So this long run, I started the first 5 miles and I was just like, oh my God, this is like really this feels like really, really good. Felt really light, like low heart rate. It was going a lot faster than I wanted to be going, and I was like, oh, I already started going fast. Like it is what it is. The race is 3 weeks out, so I decided I might as well push a little bit on the run. So my first 5 easy were all around, ooh, damn. So they're all under 8 minutes. They're all around 7:40s. And I started my build at 7:30, a 7 mile build at 7:30 all the way down to 6:58. So just around 7 flat, and then took one off. And then I was supposed to do another 6 build, but then I just did 2 too quick, and then I just dropped the other 3 and just finished off the run. But I was really happy with it. So I did 22-mile run with a 7:27 average with average heart rate just right above Maffetone. So going into Texas, I was just really hoping to hold 8 flat, but hopefully I can hold a little better. But we'll see. I'm still really happy with just holding 8 flat off the bike. But I was happy to push a little bit on the long run because getting off the bike at Florida, I was like, why did I think I could run? So my original goal was 7:30s, just to hold 7:30 at Florida, and I would do all my like race pace workouts just at that 7:30. So this prep, I would try to hold rate my like race pace on like my floats and try to do like the actual work a little faster, just so that it kind of mimics the race a little bit more. So like because my legs are gonna be more beat up coming up the bike, so I just want to be able to like go that a little faster and beat them up on a raw run. So I'm really happy with how the run build ended, and I was just looking at my Strava, and like my run it's been really good. So ever since, so what is it? What's the Strava graph? Is that the past 10 weeks?
12.
12 the past, yeah. So the past 9 weeks they've all the lowest I've gone was 32 miles. So I've had 32 into 38, 36, 40, 32, 41, 34 into my largest being at 43. So I feel like that's a pretty big, like pretty solid like amount of volume for me for the run. And I'm really hoping I can do a lot better on the run at Texas and not walk any aid stations like I did. Like I walked every aid station at Florida, but hopefully we've learned from that and we don't do that again.
How's the feeling on the run?
The feeling was good.
Your SIS buffet again?
Yeah, I had 15 SIS gels. So
So it was really funny. So one of my well, I had a friend come over, Nolan. He ran my track workout with me. And before we started the run, he was like, that he was watching the nerd versus naked belt video. He
yeah.
was like, does that guy really eat all those gels on the run? He's like 15 gels for a run. Isn't that a little overkill? And I told him, you gotta train the gut.
Oh yeah, so I had 15, which comes out to 330 in just under 3 hours. So it's going like around 100 to 120, which I definitely won't be doing on the run, but hopefully I can do 80 to 90 because I really did. Like at Florida, I just couldn't take any like gels anymore. So I just like I would have to take chips and like pretzels. I really hope I don't have to do that again. So this prep I was really trying to get as many like gels in on the run. Yeah, it's Sunday buffet with SIS gels, just a gel every like 15 minutes.
But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's for sure. Yeah. Speaking of, I had some shout out to my mom's elementary school. They have these packets of craisins, and I've been using those. Man, those come in clutch. Little packets at like 30 grams of carbs. But yeah, no, those will be featured in my next video that I'm posting on the track workout I did, which was yeah. So I did the track workout off the bike on Saturday, and I was a little worried going into it. Not worried that I wouldn't be yeah, I guess I was a little worried that the paces wouldn't be as quick as they have been in the past because I haven't done a track workout. And honestly, I think before Ironman Florida, all my runs have been pretty much on the treadmill and they've all been kind of hill incline work. So I don't except for strides, I don't think I've ran faster than 6 minute pace really before this workout. So I was definitely a bit worried, but I came off the bike and the legs were feeling pretty good. So I ended up sitting at 800 PR, which I probably shouldn't have done. It was the last rep of the workout, and I really wanted to break 5. And so I kind of had to. Yeah, they say, or at least my coach has told me, and I've heard in the past that you never should go 100% on run workouts just because, the risk of injury. But I did. I really wanted to. So I finished that rep completely dusted. But I went 457. So I was happy with that one or not 457 pace to 228, I think, on the 800. So yeah, I was pretty stoked with that. But now even though I felt pretty good yesterday and today, coach told me I had to take or she suggested I take a full rest day yesterday and an easy day today. So that's what we had on the schedule. And then I think we're going to get back into it a little bit next week. But I wanted to talk about a swim workout I had on Saturday. So for those of you that have been listening, you all know that I've been struggling with the swim. So I've been trying to find a master's swim group that I can go swim with. And there was one of my friends told me about this one group at a at a military academy about 20 minutes away. So I was like, okay, military academy, it's gotta be pretty good. So I was like, okay, I got up at like 3:45 Saturday morning, got up, it was cold outside, drove cold and dark, drove to the place. The swim started at 5:15. And man, it was one of the worst experiences. The people there were super nice, the coach was awesome, but they said the water was 80 degrees, which is what it is at the pool I usually go to. It was not 80 degrees. It was probably closer to 70. I was freezing. It was terrible. I was sure. I tried to do the workout was supposed to be, the workout was 10-100, 10 by 100, starting at a 140 base. And then the base, and then you lost 5 seconds every time. So it was 140, 135, 120, 125. And it was like 2 or 3 reps at each. And so anyway, long story short, I think I spent the first one at like a 125. And then I stopped after 6. I got out of the pool at like 2,100 yards. I was freezing so much and I just felt so bad. But yeah, it's safe to say I will not be going back to that master swim group. Sorry, but I'm still on the lookout. There's another one actually that I emailed that I may be going to visit or try to practice in the next few weeks. So keep you guys updated on that one. But yeah, it was not a fun time. Swimming in the cold is not fun. Yeah, but I think that's gonna do it. Or is there anything else you guys? Oh, let's. Do you guys have any gels or anything you want to talk about? Any fun nutrition products that you tried this week?
Um,
I have one. I always have one.
I don't think I tried anything new this week. I think I
No?
just, yeah, same old for me.
Yep.
Oh, well, you guys go ahead. I'll talk about something I did during my run. So,
Okay. Well, I tried this was a few weeks ago, but it's still in my notes to talk about. The Spring Energy Banana Bar. I had very high hope for this. I like Spring. I think they make some good products. Oh, I guess we should mention one of our sponsors, the NVDM sponsor, Raw and Revive. If you guys are looking to pick up some supplements, endurance fuel, whatever it may be, definitely check out Raw and Revive. We'll link to both of them in the description box below. Use code NVDM to save. Seid and multiple other athletes all say that the lemon one tastes like Skittles. Personally, I think I like the orange one a little bit more, but yeah, whichever one you choose, you can't go wrong. But back to the Spring Energy Banana Bar. I had pretty high hopes for it. I was kind of hoping it'd be a kind of like a soft baked banana bread bar. Man, I bit into it. Have you guys ever had a Quest bar? You know those Quest protein bars?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was chewier than those. It was like hard and chewy, and I was not a fan. I did finish it because I needed the carbs, but if I wasn't, desperate for carbs, I would not have finished that Spring Energy banana bar. So maybe I just got a bad bar. I don't know, but I cannot personally endorse the Spring Energy banana bar. So yeah, but I do have some more. I just got a shipment from the feed with lots of new chews and bars and whatnot. So I'll be trying those out relatively soon here.
On my run, I tried something that was kind of interesting. So, not that interesting, I guess, but I was gonna use the naked belt, but because it was so cold on my run and I had like a pair of like the On running tights. They've got like a nice like pocket on the right side and then like a back zipper pocket. So like that was kind of all I needed. And I just set it up so that I would do a loop like by my house. So I set like a bottle outside to pick up after 6 miles or so. So I didn't really need to carry too much on me. But
Wait,
I
really quickly before you go on, have you ever had it where you set something out, you set a bottle out, or you put a t-shirt down or something during a run, and you plan on coming back to it and it's not there? Has that ever
no,
happened to either of you? No? It's happened to
no.
me only once. Usually it happens when I have like a long sleeve shirt on or something, like I'm starting a run, and so I'll ditch the shirt in some bushes or something. I think it's happened at least twice where I've lost some two pretty nice long sleeve shirts and they weren't there when I came back, and I was pretty mad.
Oh
But
man.
fine. Good to know that the people in New York are not stealing runners'
Well,
nutrition.
upstate New York. I don't think I would ever do that in the city because I can guarantee you it would be gone probably 10 seconds after I drop something off. But um I took the little flask that the feed was selling. Like they had like that, and like I sent a picture to State. I thought it was gonna be like a reasonable size flask. I didn't really look at the size of it. I was just like, oh, this is cool. This will be good. It's like 5 ounces. 5 ounces is nothing.
Fill that
And
up with maple syrup.
so what I did was I took the 90 grams of carbs, precision fuel and hydration gel where like it actually has like a twist off cap and you can like reseal it. Took one of those. Those are like 5.4 ounces, it says in the packaging, and I put a full one of those in the little flask, and it held all of that. Put a little water in there too, just so that the consistency was easier to have, and then just use that on the run. So it was like carrying approximately three gels just in one little pouch, and that was nice. It was easy to use. So even though it's small, I'd recommend the products.
Oh, speaking of products from the feed, I just got the race day bottle, the 950 milliliter. I still haven't been able to test it if it fits in my bottle holder because my bike's currently in the shop getting tuned up or getting packed and shipped. But I think next podcast I'll update you guys. I think it's shake because I saw Lionel, I think, or I saw someone at the Oceanside race with it. The squeeze, the big 950 milliliter bottle from the feed. So I think it should fit in the cage.
Nice.
But I think
I
that's
will.
going to do it all for this episode. Definitely make sure to stay tuned. We have a very exciting episode coming next week. We have a special guest coming in from all the way from Australia. It has been yeah, it's taken some time to coordinate all the times and whatnot for the three of us because it's trying to, yeah, three different time zones, but we finally are able to make it happen. So yeah, joining us next week, we have a great guest that we're all very excited to bring you guys. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, whatever platform you are listening on. And as always, we'd appreciate a review, and we'll catch you back here in the next one.
See you guys.
See you guys.